This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
On this very special edition of Out of England, we come to you from Manchester. Manchester, according to many, is a lovely, lovely city. Particularly people who've been here, living here, say that it's absolutely brilliant for an after-retirement life. And given that, I'd like to discuss this with you. We hear of so many cases of children abandoning their parents back in India, also because India has this beautiful culture of joint families where the grandparents are playing nannies to their grandchildren, they're all living together, or maybe in close proximity if not together. But it's slowly becoming different in India as well, where it's going to be nuclear families. Most cases we find where parents are having to go away to an old age home, etc. Let me start with you. Do you feel you have made the right thing? You've done the right thing by moving here. Do you feel more empowered here? Was it a good thing to do?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a good thing to move. I actually moved out with the finding a far more suitable and better job. Went to the US and then from there came here. And you can see huge lot of advantages here in this country, whether they are related to the healthcare system, social care system, educational system, which is quite important for children and parents. And in terms of law and order, most of the things are relatively far, far better in this country. Although I must quickly add that my knowledge of India is more than 40, 50 years old.
Yes.
But having said that...
You don't miss the emotional connect that you have with India. Maybe sometimes as seniors, you just want company to talk. And here, maybe you don't have the chances to do that. Which back in India, you would have company to talk. You would have your friends from school sometimes in the same town.
Yeah, definitely we miss that social culture over here. Basically, because of the geographical state of this country, the people don't stay nearby, and you don't have the community people with you, which we are used to back in India. In any of the spare time, you come out of the house, like where I used to live in Mumbai, I come out of the building, go to the main road, to get a bus or a rickshaw. It takes me 15 minutes. There it should be hardly 2 minutes, because I meet so many people, so much of interactions, Yeah, we miss that over here.
Yes.
But if you compare that again, yeah, it's a better life. To get something, you have to lose something.
You don't have to rely perhaps on people to get you to some place. The public transport is better here maybe.
As India is growing now, and previously also, I didn't have much problem with the infrastructure or not basically infrastructure, but the transport. It was good enough in India. In Mumbai, where I lived,
Okay.
it was good enough. You take a rickshaw.
I'm sure any Mumbaiker would agree with that, except I think they would say it takes too much time to commute between two places, which is the case, trust me, everywhere else, including London. I would not say only Indian cities. Let me ask you, sir, you're not a senior citizen yet, and you have your children who are still studying. Are you consciously making sure that after you retire, after you stop working, you should not reach a situation where you would have to ask them or depend on them for your living and your wife?
Yeah, I would like to be self-reliant anyway. So,
Yes.
and I believe everyone should make sure that they have enough resources, enough money when they are going to retire to manage their own lives. But if we compare with India and here, definitely we have more resources here. Even somebody who doesn't have money, he can be rest assured of that he will be looked after.
Looked after here.
Looked after.
That's a very, very important point you make about how everyone should perhaps try and be self-reliant, because sometimes in India we have parents who just give away everything to their children. My parents did that, and God forbid I don't come under the category where I would hopefully never abandon or mistreat them. But ma'am, let me ask you, do you play nanny to your grandchildren?
Yeah, sometimes, because if there is a need, because my children don't live that near, so I can't do it every day or
Yes.
so. If there is a need, then yes, I go and spend a week and look after my...
And that's fun?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
You enjoy it. That's a very, very important point, isn't it? Because in India, it's almost in every home where the grandparents are looking after their grandchildren when the parents are away at work.
No, I have a grandkid.
Okay.
My daughter is over here. We have a good time with the kids. See,
But what about, sir, for families, for sons who are away abroad? What about those who are back home who've had children abroad?
That shouldn't be a problem, but if the children are living in a different country, then obviously it becomes much more difficult. But even that, if you consider the things or the changes that has gone in the last 30, 40 years, there was a time when even your letter to communicate would have taken you 15 days.
Yes.
Whereas nowadays with the mobile phone technology, you can talk to them every day with
Yes.
very, very
And
cheap
also
rates.
shorter flights, direct flights, etc.
no, Manchester doesn't have any direct flight from Manchester
Manchester, no?
to... Yeah, you're...
Look, I'm a Londoner.
Manchester, we are in Manchester now. Let us know that from Manchester there is not a single ever flight to any of the Indian cities.
Any quick incident you would want to relate of your friend or your family member back in India where you heard that and you thought, oh God, let it not happen to anybody else. What would your message be to generation next?
Yeah, I have a first-hand experience of one of my good friends. He was an old man, but he was my friend. But he gave away all his money, all his factories and all in his life when he was around 50, 60, and he decided, I want to retire, and gave everything to the children.
Yes.
And after 10 years, because they didn't value that, because they did not earn it, so they just wasted all of money, and the factories were sold, and he was like begging money from his own children,
Yes.
and they were not treating him well because they don't have anything which they can think that they will be inheriting from him. They have already got that and wasted all that.
Unfortunately, having reported for so many years in India, I can tell that this is a story which is probably 3 out of 6 homes has a story like this. Your quick point,
Support your
sir.
children, but still keep yourself empowered.
Very important message indeed. Support your children as much as you can. Of course, parents will go out of their way, but try and be self-reliant. Yes,
I
sir.
have a very bad experience, not of personal to me, but I had one senior ex-colleague. After his marriage and kids, like he left his mom, single mom, she was a widow, and she did everything to get her son a job.
Yeah.
That to a big company like Larsen & Toubro, where I work. He was my colleague. But after marriage, that lady was thrown out of the house. She lived in the slum all these years. Wow. She never came back to the son because the son was not taking care of her at all. She was all alone.
And which part of India?
In Mumbai, it is Thane.
Okay.
Thane. She used to live at Thane somewhere.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, she died. And you know what she did? She asked her people not to inform the son, but someone informed the son. The son came running at that time.
Yeah.
But this lady,
Such was the resent.
the thing is that she saved all the money, that the last rites also, she didn't allow the son to do it.
Yes. Such was the resent and perhaps the disappointment that the son had failed her.
That man also, who is a senior colleague of mine, when I came to know about the incidents, it was so pathetic. I'm not speaking to him.
If I just quickly want to add something to it. All 5 fingers are not
Not the
similar.
same. Yes, sure. There are,
We are
of
not
course.
doing a message that
Absolutely.
this is happening in every home in India. So there are people, even though they're not rich or they don't have money, but they still look after their parents.
Children, and it's not even that here every parent is being cared for. So it happens. It happens everywhere. I guess emotion is a very, very broad term. So it's very, very important to stay connected no matter where you are. And like he said, there are shorter flights. There's technology. So use it to the fullest to make sure you get a smile on your face as well as that of your parents. Thank you very much to talk to us on this edition of Out of England.
That India has that culture
Yes.
of if not the joint family, which is like segregating now, but India has a culture where they are looked after by the kids. There are exceptions, yes.
Exactly why we are discussing
have the
this,
culture.
and hopefully it remains only exceptions and not the way of, not the more normal thing to do.